Here we
My
go.
wife made me change my shirt, so I wasn't in my.
Oh, wait. We're live, man.
Oh. Sorry, guys. Sorry,
Okay.
honey.
All right, so everyone knows now that your wife made you change your shirt, man. It's
Yeah.
it's on the record now. Hey, how's it going? This is Champagne Sharks. How's everybody feeling? I think we're live right now, and
Sweet.
oh wait, perfect timing. Hold on.
You probably can't see me.
No, we
Oh,
can't yet.
yeah, I know. It's like the Phantom of the Opera, man.
Yeah, it's dark. It's the lighting in here is horrible, so I just said fuck it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were actually in the room that dark.
No, no.
You didn't pay your electric bill.
No, right?
So that wouldn't even make any sense because how would your computer be running? But you know what? Forget it. So yeah, this is we got Kenny with us. Y'all know who he is. We got Adam from the podcast Escape from Plan A. Let me just let people know on Twitter.
Everybody.
Yeah, I thought maybe you were in mourning for Wilder. That was my
No.
Yeah, the black screen.
I was last night. That's for damn sure, man. I was
We were.
Oh my god, man.
Dude, the bar cleaned out so fast. Like,
oh man.
Like 80% of the people there were rooting for Wilder, I think. And then like they all left, right, T? They just sort of like cleared up.
I turned it off. I turned it off in the 5th round. I turned it off.
Yeah.
It was brutal, man. We got Sly's in the room. He was with us at the fight. It was me, Adam, and my boy Sly at the fight. He's in the room right now, saying for me to put the shades back on. Yeah, it was not.
It was tough.
I don't even know how to. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Damn, man. I'm trying to think of the last time I was really that disappointed. I love boxing. You guys know boxing is like number one for me. It probably had to be when Tyson got beat by Holyfield the first time. The last time, I mean, because it's one thing if a guy loses in a decision or something like that. You know, I've seen plenty of that.
Sure.
Guys get robbed, like Pernell Whitaker and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It was a robbery. They call it a draw. It was a robbery. Pernell won that fight.
Oh yeah.
But when a dude just gets beat down, like there was literally no resistance from Wilder last night. None. No resistance.
Yeah.
It was ugly. It almost looked like something was wrong.
That's what some people were speculating, right? I've seen a little bit of that on Twitter, that people were sort of scrutinizing before the fight. Like there was that one instance where Wilder was sitting in a chair and like some guy comes up from behind him and he's like getting real close and like whispering in his ear.
Yeah.
And people were speculating like,
wrong.
Yeah, was something wrong with Wilder? Like, was he, you know?
It was one of the things like, I mean, really, it got so bad to whereas I was just like looking at the TV and I knew the punches that Wilder was trying to throw. He was telegraphing every punch, and Fury was literally just picking his shots. When I seen Wilder get taken down with a body shot, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm done. The body shot, that's rare for Wilder. Like that's not something that, you know.
I don't think Fury is really known for his body work either.
No, at all. And, you know, he fought, honestly, Luis Ortiz is better because he's a southpaw counterpuncher. And he was giving Wilder work in both of those two fights. And Wilder wasn't going down from those body shots. So last night, the first knockdown, I was like, oh, damn. You know, it was kind of behind the head, whatever. And I heard a lot of people talking about Fury using dirty tactics, but I'm old school, man. If you don't like what someone's doing to you, you do it back.
Sure.
If the referee is not going to do anything about it, you do it back. I didn't think anything Fury did was dirty.
Him for every
absolutely
thing.
Yeah. You know, I remember Mike Tyson in that first Tyson Holyfield fight. He was complaining about the headbutts, and you see Mike's eye at the end of that fight. His eye was cut real bad. It was horrible. And he was talking, oh, my kids are they're gonna think I'm a monster and all this other kind of shit. and was Holyfield headbutting him? Hell yeah, he was headbutting him.
Probably was, yeah.
Clash of heads, you know. But last night, man, I can't remember when I seen someone just get beat with no resistance in a big fight like that. just a big fight, you know.
It's no resistance for me is what sort of was very surprising. It was because I can think of like a fight where I was really, really disappointed and like almost to the point of like being sad about the result, which was Pacquiao Marquez 4 when Marquez knocked Pacquiao out stone cold with the counter right hand, which was even a short punch. It didn't even fall through all the way. Like he sort of short armed it. But he just caught him because Pacquiao was coming in.
That was bad. That was really
was bad. But like it wasn't like Pacquiao was getting beat up the whole fight. He was actually winning that fight until he got knocked out.
You really could call that punch that Marquez threw a lucky shot because the way Pacquiao, the way he because that's how Pacquiao fights. He's an inside fighter. So when he came inside, it was just a perfect check, like a check. It was almost like a check right hook.
Yeah,
the way he caught him with it.
True, but if you look back, like in that fight, he was sort of trying to time that,
trying to bait him in, for
a while, and he sort of parried because Pacquiao, he'll do is he'll like hop back and forth, but sort of in a straight line. And he'll try to catch you like in a weird timing where he'll look like he's gonna go back, but he sort of skips forward. And he did it when he was too close. So he was trying for like a jab, but like not in jab range, right? Like if you're too close, you don't punch with the jab,
right?
Just leaves you really open. And Marquez like parried it, to his, to the and Pacquiao was really off balance, and he leaned forward, I think, more than he expected to, and then Marquez came with the right. So
it's one of those punches, kind of like how they say. I don't know if you guys ever hear somebody say, like, if you hit a golf ball perfectly, or you hit a baseball on the sweet spot on the bat, you don't even feel it.
Exactly.
When you land that punch, you don't even feel the punch as far as the person throwing the punch. Pacquiao was sleepy. Pacquiao
might not have felt it either.
He didn't. He was sleeping. So. He was asleep. Yeah.
I mean, he was out.
Yeah, he was sleeping before the canvas.
But that's not
give him a pillow and a blanket.
He was sleeping. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody get knocked out like that. Probably since Tommy Morrison and Ray Mercer.
Ooh, I think
Roy Jones that's a little bit of a throwback, but
Roy Jones with Glenn.
Glenn Johnson.
That was a pretty brutal one too.
That was a good one. Or or Pacquiao. A better fight where he, so a better analogy for the way that Wilder didn't have any resistance to Fury would be Houghton getting fucking destroyed by Pacquiao. Just 2 rounds where it was like a child being beaten by, you know what I mean? It was just awful.
Well, here's the thing, man.
Anyway,
and the thing is like, this is what makes me. I don't know. I know people want to say something was wrong with Wilder going into it or whatever the case may be. There's a difference between just getting beat up by someone who's a superior boxer, and just going out. Even though I think, for example, like Emmanuel Augustus, right? When he fought Floyd, he was totally outclassed. Right?
But he wouldn't quit.
But he was a game. He was a game fighter. He was. Right? He was just outclassed skill wise, but he was a game fighter.
That's probably Floyd's toughest fight too.
I was going to say that says something. That says something about Mayweather, that he could outclass an Emmanuel Augustus as a pure boxing.
Right.
Anyway,
in pure boxing, right? And now look at what happened last night with Wilder. Wilder usually is a game fighter. Like, now to his credit, even when he had the first fight with Fury, he got outboxed in that one, a lot of people would say, but he was still game. He was this one, he had no spirit. He wasn't a game fighter in this one.
He was fighting, I don't know, the whole time.
Yeah, even from the start, like before the big shot was landed, he just wasn't a game fighter. It was it really reminded me of, and I'm gonna show my age a little bit. It was really reminiscent of Mike Tyson against Buster Douglas.
Yes.
In a way,
remember that.
Yes.
Tyson was not, he just didn't have that same hunger, that same, piranha when they drop fresh meat in the tank, man, and the piranhas just attack it. He didn't have that same ferocity last night that we normally see in him. And I don't know what was going on, but you can't go into a professional boxing match, the biggest match of your life, with that kind of hesitancy behind you, man. You got to go
I'll tell you something that Teddy Atlas said, and I agree with him. And I'm glad you brought up that fight with Tyson and Buster Douglas. That was the first time Mike Tyson had been in a fight.
Yeah.
That's the first time Wilder had been in a fight. He had plenty of boxing matches. You know, the Luis Ortiz, those 2 matches were great boxing matches.
Yeah.
But he had never been in a fight. And he can't. I hate to say it, Wilder's my dude. He can't fight.
He got bullied. He got bullied. Man.
Yeah, because you know what happens, I think, with Wilder is so used to having people afraid of that one right hand. So when people box him, even Ortiz was worse the second time because Ortiz, I think, had like PTSD from that first statement.
Absolutely.
So it's like people will just sit there and let Wilder just measure the distance, get their pacing, whatever. So I think Wilder is just used to people letting him set up his big right hand. You know what I mean? Because the people are always afraid of being too aggressive. Because if you're too aggressive and you leave an opening, because the first time Ortiz got a little cocky and said, "Let me just end this now," and Ortiz tried to.
He tried to close the show.
And when Ortiz tried to close the show, a lot of times that's when you create an opening. And I think Wilder got used to people letting him pick his shots, letting him get his measurement, and Fury was like, I don't care about creating an opening. He just had him on his heels from jump.
You know, and it's funny you said that because when he was, I think it was in the 4th round. Did you guys watch Canelo Triple G? The second fight, the first or second fight?
You know, I still haven't seen the second fight. I saw the first one. I didn't watch the second.
If you watch that fight, the second fight, Canelo was backing Triple G up a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was.
And that was one of the things that people kept saying, "Oh, I can't believe he's backing Triple G up." But even though he was backing Triple G up, Triple G always stayed in the pocket. He was always on his feet. If you looked at Wilder when he was moving backwards, he was on his heels moving backwards.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's literally. You know how in wrestling, when the guy's getting punched and he's like falling around and shit, that's what Wilder looked like.
Well, Wilder, like,
you know what I'm saying? He's on his heels like a strong gust of wind would have blew him down. Right. He was so on his heels.
Well, I mean, Wilder has, it would take us a long time to catalog the flaws of Wilder's game, right? But and this is not a knock on Wilder because I feel like plenty of fighters cannot fight going backwards. It's just
they can't.
It's a skill that like people don't have, and if they can sort of fight going backwards, they can really just play defense. Yeah, but like Wilder doesn't have any of that, right? He can't have. He doesn't have defense anyway, and then going backwards, he does nothing.
Even boxers with a good toolbox have trouble doing that.
Yeah, so exactly. And so
that's what makes Floyd Mayweather so great because he can fight moving backwards with both hands.
Absolutely. I mean, his check left hooks and just everything about him. But like, Wilder, like if he can't go forward and sort of, as you said, T, like just be allowed to measure, he is very, very flawed. But he always has that eraser. So I think he's. I don't want to say like he's exposed because that's sort of like a very cliched.
That's a very cliche.
But it does show a major flaw. That's all I'm saying. Like it shows a major flaw in Wilder.
That's what kind of pissed me off too, because all of the commentary after the fight was just hackneyed and your standard he got exposed, he got this, he got that. Very little in-depth analysis. You know what I mean? It was that was disappointing too to see.
Well, you gotta remember, there's a lot of Wilder hate, man. There's a lot of hate for Wilder,
for sure.
And which always bothered me, because to me, the reason why I like Deontay Wilder is because he embraces himself. He knows he didn't start boxing until he was 19.
Yeah,
and which is very well for any sport.
For boxing, that's old.
For boxing, that's ancient.
Yeah.
Yes. That's like a guy turning pro going to the NFL at 31.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, so for him, he's a lunch pail type boxer. He's a throwback to the Jack Dempseys and the Jack Johnson, people like that, because although they had really good fundamentals, like last night he did some things that really bothered me. Like when he was in trouble, he was trying to throw the right hand standing straight up and his knees weren't bent, nothing. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be bad. And
he has no technique, man. He just doesn't know how to throw any punches. He doesn't know.
Horrible. His footwork. He would be better off throwing punches with skates on.
Yeah.
Because when a fighter is crowding you like how Fury was doing him, you're not going to really get much time to cock that
No.
right hand back and land.
Nope.
He lands an overhand right. He's not going to get.
He kept doing it, and he kept doing it. Lennox Lewis was saying and I was yelling at the TV when he throws a jab, you come over the jab with the right hand, but he couldn't get the distance, and he was like, he doesn't understand lateral movement. I asked everybody this last night. If I'm driving a car straight at you, which way are you going to move?
Right.
You're going to move left or right. You're not going to move back.
Right.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder said straight back. That's where he'd go.
Yeah. He does not have lateral movement, and that's why people love
that. He didn't even throw a check left.
He didn't. He didn't.
He had no left.
There was so many times he could have went left or right and check, left, right, check. There was so many times he could have did it. And if you ever watch Vasyl Lomachenko, that's what makes him so good.
Yeah,
it's the angles. That's why
he's doing it from the opposite side.
Yes,
switch. It's like that's why Bud Crawford's great too.
Yes, thank you, Terrence Crawford. That makes him so great because he switches from southpaw to orthodox with ease.
And he does it just Did you guys watch Crawford's last fight?
Yeah.
He was definitely carrying that dude, right? Because I felt like some people were sort of being like, "Oh my god, why is like Bud getting hit or whatever?" I'm like, that's because he wants to get hit. Like it's not that he wants to get hit, but he wants to give people a show, and he knows that at any point he's just going to end the fight, and he did.
Yeah.
But like that's not Wilder, man. I mean,
man.
But if you look at Wilder's interviews, he knows, like, people say he is exposed, and you're saying that's cliche. I don't think it was that he was exposed because everybody knew his flaws. He said his flaws.
Absolutely.
I just think, what it's like? It's like when somebody, like, you can see a fastball coming at you, but the guy throws it so fast, it doesn't matter if you can see it.
A dude with 102 mile an hour fastball.
You can see it clear as day, but do you have the skills to capitalize? And I think
it's like Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was never a big game pitcher in the playoffs, but he got 7 no-hitters.
Some dudes have no curveball, no changeup, whatever. They just start to throw really fast.
You're just gonna smoke.
So they don't have so they just smoke. You just throw it right over the plate each time. You're not gonna do anything about it. I think Wilder's one of those people. He said in his own interviews, like, I know my flaws, but who's going to come in there and try to capitalize on them? Because, everyone's getting slept by.
Okay, now I do have to reiterate this because even everything you guys are saying is 100% spot on in terms of him being a flawed fighter. Everybody knew that going in. That does not negate the fact that he just was not game in this.
He wasn't game,
that's true.
And I don't know, like, if I play football, right? So in football, you could be the biggest beast. If you take a helmet to the sternum,
you know, you're Mario.
How big you are?
Hey, Mario, I'll give you a perfect example. Of someone not game. LaDainian Tomlinson, the year I think he won league MVP. They played the Patriots, and he sat on the sideline with his helmet on the whole game. And he had this mystery injury. Nobody, still to this day, nobody knows why LT didn't play in that game. It was like something happened.
Oh wow! Okay, so people speculating.
Yeah.
So with Wilder, man, I don't know it. Like I said, to me, he didn't look. I watched it for the walkthrough, everything. He did not come out with any type of ferocity.
He didn't.
Now, and to give Tyson Fury credit, he did what he said he was going to do. He came straight forward. He tried to bully him right off the gate. Now, I don't know if that threw Wilder off his game. Seeing Fury come like that from the outset of the fight, whatever the case may be, something happened early in that fight that took him out of it emotionally and mentally. He just wasn't there, and it's just like when you get caught with a perfect shot, it's just there's some things. There's just nothing that you can have two fighters of equal skill, and if you get caught with the right shot, it's going to mess with you the entire fight. And I'll give you another example that people kind of slept on. Okay, I know this doesn't technically count as a boxing match because some people say it was a gimmick fight, but I'm gonna go back to Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor.
Okay, right.
There's a moment in that fight where Conor McGregor catches Floyd with a liver shot.
Yes.
Over and goes backwards.
Yes.
Conor didn't know how to capitalize on that because he's not a boxer. He didn't know how to capitalize on that liver shot, but he caught him with it. And if he knew how to do it, he could have possibly closed the show, but he didn't know what he was doing in that sense. And that just goes to show, like, there's certain shots, man, behind the ear, liver.
Yeah.
Like I said, in football, it's a helmet to the sternum or a stinger in your neck. If you get those neck stingers, you can't move. You can't do anything. There's just certain things that just cut you off. If he had a busted eardrum and got hit in the back of the head and all that kind of stuff, that's going to mess you up for the whole fight. So even if you have two guys of equal skill, there's certain things that just
so JD's came out last night and they asked him about Wilder's ear, and he said all he had was a cut inside of his ear. That's where the blood came from, and he's got like 7 stitches in his ear. Nothing about an eardrum. That's what threw me for a loop. So I'm like, okay, I seen he got hit behind the head, rabbit punches a lot during the fight, but before the knockdown, he didn't look right.
He didn't. He was
wobbly ever since that shot.
Can I say an aside about those rabbit punches? I'm starting. That's been going on a lot in boxing lately.
Oh
man. Go back and look at the Maidona
Mayweather,
the Mayweather fight. That was something that was going on, and I just thought, like, you know how in basketball, like the traveling happens so much, it's just like part of the game now.
Right.
I just thought that the punches behind the head were like part of boxing now, because no one gets called for it anymore. So I just assumed that that's just kind of like a thing.
Yeah, they don't call that no more. They don't really call that anymore.
Doesn't seem like it.
That's particularly dangerous too. I think you guys know that, but it's very, very dangerous. So I mean, I don't know if I've noticed it more than I have in the past, or maybe I'm just used to it because like I've just in the last 10 years I think it's more prevalent. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Punches like that, and especially coming out of the clinch, stuff like that.
Yeah,
headbutts. They'll call the headbutts more than they'll call the elbows. Floyd Mayweather was known for putting his forearm on you. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that to create distance. But if you watch, you talking about capitalizing on, things like that. It reminds me of the Shane Mosley Floyd Mayweather fight when he had Floyd. Yeah. Floyd even admitted that when he hit him with that right hand, everything started spinning. He said only thing he remembers, everything was spinning, and he just had to hold on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Shane almost won that fight.
He should have won the fight. If that's young Shane at 140, he obliterates that motherfucker. But this is Shane's like what, 38 at the time, something like that. But
he was
Wilder doesn't have, and I'm not trying to compare Wilder to Floyd, like skill wise, it's pointless. But the need to be able to, I think even, I hate to say this, but I think even Joshua would have responded better.
Ooh,
I don't think Joshua would have won.
I don't know, man.
I don't think Joshua would have won. But I think Joshua would have been able to respond.
I can see that.
He responded better.
I mean, I know that Wilder.
People have to realize how momentous that is for Ken to give
Joshua any praise. Wilder. I was more surprised that Wilder didn't show any like toughness or fight last night because I've seen like Wilder's been in some sort of back and forth battles. Right? It's not like even though he has like he has now 41 knockouts out of 43 fights or whatever. It's not like he just breezed through it, right? So he's had to go through some adversity. So that's why it's particularly surprising to me. Joshua, on the other hand, I don't think that maybe 1 or 2 fights he's shown a little fight in him.
The
Klitschko fight, and then I think beating Ruiz for this in the rematch. But like, it would surprise me.
Something just happened.
That's another one that you're talking about, that Ruiz fight too. That's another one where
T, I wouldn't do that, bro. We're gonna get in trouble for copyright.
Sort of.
Oh, word. Oh, man. All right, let me get it up. But I just want to talk about that real quick before we.
Oh my God, that was like
that's just Tyson Fury being crazy. Tyson Fury.
That was really gross.
That was like like Tyson biting Holyfield's ear.
Yeah, that would have made me want to fight more. Like if somebody did some shit like that to me.
Absolutely.
Something about that was kind of demonic and racially charged to me. The whole.
I think so. Yeah.
Really? You said racially charged? Damn.
Something about that. I don't know.
We haven't even gotten into that. The racial overtones of the.
Oh my God!
I'm not saying Tyson Fury was.
No. It's the fans. It's the fans. And this is, you guys remember I did that episode of Champagne Sharks I did by myself talking about racism in boxing. One of the things about racism in boxing, especially with Deontay Wilder, he is the new Jack Johnson.
Mm.
You have no idea how many of all the LDBC boxing videos on YouTube, the trolls came in flying in.
Of course.
And the thing about it is this, man. Deontay Wilder lost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That must have bothered you to the point you didn't think he was gonna lose.
Mhm.
Because if you thought he was as flawed as you said he was, why would you be shocked? Why would you have to run over to the black channels on YouTube to make fun of Deontay Wilder? What did you gain out of making fun of Deontay Wilder? I say this all the time, and I'm not on Twitter, but I used to always say, whenever there's a black boxer fight any non-black person, just put that person's name in and nigger on Twitter, and you'll see all kinds of shit on Fight Night.
The funny thing
That's
is,
how bad it is.
thing is, when the boxer wins, when the boxer loses, they still put it. That's
No matter what, I mean, they do it before the fight even starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true, man.
If you put in Adrian Broner and nigger, put in Floyd Mayweather and nigger, especially Adrian Broner, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Broner, yes,
it's a bad thing.
Broner is not a likable person
At all. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't like Adrian Broner. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's a dickhead.
As a human being, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Even Mayweather's a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like them as people, but as boxers, I respect the skill. But it's really bad.
How about these implications? That freaking Black History montage coming out,
man.
And then Martin Luther King, he pulled out everybody. I don't know if
that was so
Robinson.
weird, man. Jack Johnson was there, I think.
Yeah. That was bad, man. That was what hurt the most, is that you do all that, and then he had D-Smoke come out rapping. It was some Black History Month type rap he was doing, and then you do that shit.
Yeah.
You come out and you lay that.
Hey man, heavy is the burden, man. Those that want to wear the crown, if you can't handle it, man, don't put that type of weight on yourself.
Hey Mario, you know what's funny? You said that. I was thinking about it, and I was like, there was so much riding. Deontay Wilder had the whole country on his back.
Yeah,
he had to ride with the whole country on his back because now all the belts are in the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
There's no American heavyweight that is going to be able to get those back, other than
no
American
heavyweights. We don't have any.
Like Chris Martin fought Gerald Washington in the last undercard fight. Chris Martin is not a good fighter. He's not gonna He's a decent fighter. He's definitely more skilled than Wilder, right? If you want to talk about boxing.
Yeah, he got knocked out by Anthony Joshua.
But yeah, he got knocked out by Joshua.
Deontay Wilder. Wilder knocked him out too.
And Wilder knocked him out too. And he would get knocked out by Fury. I mean, it's not a question. And talk about a guy who doesn't have fight in him.
You know what we have right now? Washington is a former college football player.
Yes.
And he fights like one. Dominic Brazil is a former college football player. He was a quarterback in college.
What?
We don't have, We don't, he was a quarterback for Eastern Michigan or something like that. Big, he's like 6'6".
He's huge.
He's huge. We don't make heavyweight boxers anymore.
We don't.
In the 60s, Muhammad Ali would have been playing small forward if he was today. He wouldn't be boxing.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Muhammad Ali is 6'2", 216. That's a two guard. You know what I'm saying? Sonny Liston would be a tight end in the NFL if it was today. You know what I'm saying? Kids don't box anymore. And it's sad because boxing is probably number 2 besides soccer in the UK. In America, there's NFL, college football, NBA, Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Golf, then NASCAR, then boxing.
I think boxing is such a skilled endeavor. It's one of those things where you have to start from a very young age, right?
Yeah.
And we live in a time now where people want a return on investment immediately.
You know,
and so it's not like MMA, for example. In MMA, you can go to, there's 1,000 MMA schools everywhere, right?
Yeah.
You can go in there and within 3 months, you learn some chokes, you learn some submission holds, you learn a few basic strikes, and you feel like you're on top of the world. You go to a boxing gym, man, in 3 months, you don't know shit.
You don't know. You still don't know how to throw a punch.
You still don't know how to throw a punch. You're not working on the heavy bag yet. You're still learning footwork, basic movements. Everything is still at a very
they probably don't even let you spar yet.
No.
Not for a while.
And that's the thing, because in boxing you can only use 2 hands. In MMA, you can use a lot of different things. And like you said, instant gratification is very important for athletes today. And in boxing,
Right.
man, you're not gonna get that, man. It could take you. Look at Andy Ruiz.
I
took
think it was
forever.
Ruiz. I think it was Ruiz who was talking about like he was in the gym for like months and months just doing his jab. You know, when he was coming up, like just like 5-6 months before they let him move on from his left jab to something else.
The first thing for the first 5-6 months in boxing at a good boxing gym is cardio. It's going to be building up your endurance and getting in shape.
Yeah,
and it's going to be fundamentals. It's going to be footwork, working into your jab. That's pretty much what it's going to be. Then they'll start mixing in some combinations and things like that. But like your first 5 months, man, is that
you got to get in shape first. Being in boxing shape is different than being in any kind of shape. I'll tell people all the time, man. Like I first started boxing when I was 10. Like being in boxing shape is a lot different than being in football, basketball, any of that kind of shit.
Basketball
it's a lot,
might
you know
be
what I mean?
Closest in terms of cardiovascular, but other than because basketball at high level is constant.
I think some other martial arts are sort of comparable, more of like the standing ones. Now, I wouldn't say obviously like jujitsu or stuff, but like I think like taekwondo training, karate training, any training where you're on your feet, moving, having to strike and use a lot of energy. That takes. I think people don't realize like try to hold your arms up in like a facsimile of a boxing stance and move around for 3 minutes. You're gonna be tired as hell.
You're gonna be tired as fuck, especially with somebody leaning on you, punching on you, grabbing on you.
And that's not even trying to throw punches back, right?
Yeah.
Even just missing punches tires you out. Like forget about just receiving beatings, just throwing them and missing them.
So all of that contributes to the lack of interest. Now that's not just it. Still, boxing gyms filled up all over the country. It's not for maybe for the heavyweight division. We're seeing that guys that should be heavyweights or middleweights are leaving to go to other sports. They're doing MMA, they're doing other things as opposed to taking the time that it takes.
There's really no glory in being the heavyweight champion anymore. I mean, the UK can love their boxers, but they come over here and nobody knows who the fuck they are. They call Anthony Joshua Anthony Johnson on ESPN. Nobody knows who he is.
Did they?
This picture here, man, I'm dreading seeing some white supremacists render it in black and white. Right, I'm dreading some white supremacists rendering this in black and white, and then putting little insets of the heads of different civil rights figures looking down from above, looking disappointed, like
oh god,
people like Rosa Parks in the top right corner, Malcolm Martin, all looking down, like looking sad. That's coming. Get ready for it. Right? Like you're gonna see that meme.
We're being hard on Wilder. I mean, I think that when you're the champ and you sort of put a lot of that pressure on you.
Yeah, but that shot behind the ear, like people were saying he got outboxed throughout, but I think everything after that shot, you can't really count. I mean, he was getting outboxed, but there was no way he could have.
There was nothing going on. It was nothing.
Yeah,
there. He was, the ring was spinning.
Yeah, exactly.
So would you guys say was more or less what Wilder didn't do or what Tyson Fury did?
Both.
It's more what Tyson Fury did. I think it's a combination. I don't think both things are. I think both can be true.
Yeah, right. I
think agree. Mostly what Tyson Fury did because he got to time the shot and land the shot to the back of the ear.
Yeah, Fury's a good fighter. I mean, I don't think that's under any dispute. Right? Yeah. He's a good fighter. Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't think Wilder. I don't think Wilder was ready. I don't think Wilder was ready for Fury to press him like that. I think he's used to being given time to pick his shots but
hold on though. Before the fight, they asked Wilder what did he think Fury was going to do, and he said this is exactly what Fury did. Wilder said, "Well, he probably put the weight on because he wants to try to come forward and smother me." That's exactly what Wilder said.
In that case, I take it back.
But knowing what somebody wants to do and being able to stop it,
right?
Exactly.
But that's what I mean when I say I take it back in terms of him not being ready for it. He just didn't have the skill set to stop it.
You can be aware of what someone might try to do, but being ready for it is a totally different thing.
Right. I think that comes down to skills, like what Ken said before about Mayweather. Like Mayweather could have adjusted on the fly to it, but
even with that, and I'll say this again, even with let's say they were equally skilled, you get that shot, man, it's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
certain spots on the body where if you
Yep.
catch somebody with it, it's over.
Totally.
Pacquiao and Marquez were equally skilled,
Yeah.
but he got hit with a perfectly timed counter.
Yeah.
But the
lights
road,
out.
the road to that shot, I think, was the problem. Like a lot of people wouldn't have let that shot come so early. But I don't know. I feel like you said, like you said, Mario, he didn't have the right energy coming in. He seemed more nervous than Fury. And I was saying this.
You the one that called it out, T. You called it out.
Yeah, I called it out. I texted Mario and Ken, and I told Adam, because Adam was sitting next to me. I told Adam and Sly, I said, Fury's way too calm, and one of two things is happening: either he's sure he's gonna lose, and he's already planning his Disney World and paycheck cashing, right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's already got his eyes on WWE, or he's that confident. One of two extremes. There's no middle ground with the level of calm.
Wait, did you say the WWE?
Yeah. Fury's done WWE.
Because he's done WWE, and the way he does his trash talking and stuff, and Triple H was there hanging out with him. I feel like he is planning to do some entertainment and wrestling in the future.
Wait, who are we talking about? You're talking about Fury or Wilder?
Fury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He did say something about he wants to do an MMA fight. I think he said fights.
Yeah, he's done work with WWE, and he was so calm. And I texted you guys about this before the fight, and I was talking to Adam next to me and Sly. We were watching the fight. I'm like, either he's that confident, he's just, he has his game plan, and he's amped himself up, to be ready to attack, and he's like amped himself up to fearlessness, or he's already checked out and he's already thinking about his next hustle, like MMA, WWE, and I guess we got our answer, man.
It's not surprising though. I don't think Fury's ever one of those fighters that is going to sort of come in thinking he's going to lose. I think Fury's always had that.
He's supremely confident. I mean, even though when he fought Klitschko, the fight was probably one of the most boring fights I've ever seen in my life. Probably is the most boring fight I've ever seen in my life. It was almost felt like an undercard fight. He definitely knew what the fuck he was doing. And I thought, I'll tell you straight up, man, I thought when he got rid of his trainer and brought in Sugar Hill, I was like, man, this dude, he must be. The first thing in my mind, I was like, if you say, because he kept saying, oh, I beat him in the first fight. Well, if you beat him, then why are you putting on weight? Why are you changing the trainer? So clearly he knew something that we didn't know.
Yeah, clearly.
So
I was looking for nerves on him and at all, and I like, either this guy's an incredible actor or he is not nervous, and I don't know what to make out of that.
I've never seen that out of him. Some people just have that devil may care attitude, man. They don't get nervous about anything. It's not. I don't know if you want to say if it's supreme confidence. There's some people, man, that they just don't get bothered by that kind of shit.
It could be delusion, it could be sociopathy, it could be anything. But either way, he had that calm. You
just like, they have this nothing to lose mentality, so nothing frightens them like that. They're not scared of the moment and things like that.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali was like that. He wasn't afraid of the moment at all. Even as an old man stumbling around the ring with Trevor Burbick, he wasn't afraid of the moment. It just didn't bother him. You know.
So I'm hearing different things about a potential third bout. Was it baked into the contract?
Yeah. So there's both fighters have an immediate rematch clause in the contracts.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think they have to get that rematch, like guaranteed, they would have to do it the next fight. So I don't think they're allowed to sort of be like, let's do one more fight and then a guaranteed rematch. If they want the guaranteed rematch, they have to do it next. Which I don't know whether Wilder's going to want to do that.
I heard it was within
because in the rematch clause,
he has 30 days. He has
30 days to put action into the clause, but the fight has to happen within 6 months.
Yeah. And they can't have like another fight in between, right? So it would have to be the next fight.
Beating, dude. You think he'll be ready in 6 months?
Dude, not just that. How many tools can he add in 6 months? Because
none.
He would need 60 years, and he doesn't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You can give that motherfucker.
This is where starting late. This is where starting late really
hurts
him.
You can give Wilder 6 years. You can give Wilder 6 years, and he wouldn't be able to add any tools, man. He's too old.
Yeah,
he had old legs last night.
Yeah, boxing, man. You gotta learn those skills young, man. It's hard to add
Well,
new things.
according to him, he said he has some type of leg issue or something like that. So let's
I don't want to
assume
hear
for
it.
the sake of conversation. I know, but let's assume for the sake of conversation that that's the case. If that's the case, and he had a leg injury or some shit coming into the thing, then sure, okay, I can see him jumping in there because, like you said, even though he's clearly the less skilled boxer of the two, that's not an excuse for him not being game like he usually is. So if there's something else going on that contributed to his performance, then boom, okay. If I'm him, then I go and I get that run back as soon as possible. Right. But if it's something else, brother, don't leave that alone, man. 6 months is not going to be enough time for you to get those cobwebs out.
If there was a leg issue, I mean, I guess there were some of those shots in the back where like he was getting like stretched out. And I've never seen a boxer get stretched out like that.
Yeah.
So maybe he had some muscle issue, though. You know, depending on the muscle issue, right? Like, I used to play soccer growing up, and the only not major injury, but only injury I got that like prevented me from really playing was I pulled my thigh muscle, and that took and that was just like a strained muscle, right? That takes like months to clear
Any
up.
of those lower extremity strains takes a while.
Yeah.
Like, do your groin, your hamstring.
It could be your hamstring, and you're pretty vulnerable to re-injury easily.
Yeah, right? Especially with a groin.
Yeah, or a hamstring. Hamstrings are very fragile once you injure them. But if that's the case, let's say it's just a leg injury, in 6 months, like it's going to take you 3-4 months to just heal, and then you have only like 2 or 3 months to
get in a
actual train.
It's
just dangerous at that point. Like
I feel like you don't even see it, even if the leg issue is legit. You don't see him being able to heal from that properly and then getting into the ring. That's assuming we're talking about a hamstring or a groin. It could be an ankle.
We don't even know. I don't even know what it is. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, if it's an ankle, that can take even longer. I mean, that's just.
Let me ask you guys this. I don't know the answer to this. Maybe you guys know. Let's say it's not about his legs healing or whatever. Let's say like the only adjustment he wanted to make. Well, one of the things about sports in general, right, is a lot of people, when they hear you only have to change one thing, this is your only weakness, people don't understand how hard it is to change habits. Like there was a baseball player like Moses Alou. He used to say, I mean, this guy is a baseball player on the top level of the MLB, and he's played in World Series games and everything. And he used to always say he had this bad habit of closing his eyes right before he had to catch the ball. And there was this famous game where a fan reached over and stole
Jeffrey Meyer, not Jeffrey Meyer, the Cubs guy.
Yeah, Cubs.
Yeah. And the way that when he was describing the thing, Alou said, "Yo, I remember that play because it was one of the few times in my life I didn't close my eyes right before I caught the ball." But that kind of shows you like this guy's on the top level. This guy's not lazy. That one game change. It's hard to break habits. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that he can remember the one time. So it's like when people say all Wilder has to do is to change one or two things. When you have ingrained habits, just changing one or two things.
I mean, tough.
Like especially when pressure comes on.
When the pressure comes on,
you might can do it but once you start having things not go your way, most of us revert to what comes natural to
muscle memory and just instinct. And instinct, a lot of like instinctual reactions come from not just natural inclination, but trained responses, right?
Yeah,
and the athletes perform best. I think we all were sort of former athletes in a way. We perform best when we don't have to think about what we're doing, right? You react faster. You react, your reflexes are better. You do everything better when you sort of just do it and you're not thinking.
It's like teaching someone how to dance, and it's a new dance, and they have to put the feet down on the ground, and they got to follow 1, 2, like 1, 2, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's gonna be definitely hard for him to do that because he has such bad habits, and it's normal. Like last night, Lennox Lewis. I love Lennox Lewis.
Oh, he's great.
Lennox Lewis kept saying he's got his left arm down. He's always fought like that.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
And it's hard to break that habit because, and I'll say it, you guys probably agree, the heavyweight division is garbage. So you can have your left hand down against fucking Archer Spilka and all these other fucking big ass Russians.
Tomato cans, man.
Yeah, these fucking taxi drivers that all of these guys, not just Wilder, all these guys fight these fucking taxi cab drivers. But when you get into a fight with a guy like Fury, who is, he's kind of fucked up in the head anyway.
The whole licking thing really showed it.
Yeah.
Well, as we're saying this, Fury changed up his style and became a push forward fighter. So
that's true.
But that was the question I was going to ask you. That I didn't finish asking is: do you think that Wilder can make that one change of just pushing forward, becoming a push forward fighter? You don't think he can?
No. His flaws are much more.
He has
fundamental. It's more fundamental. Fundamental flaws.
That's the way I feel. If he tries to push forward, he's just gonna get like
he's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, he's gonna get hurt because he doesn't have the defense to push forward confidently without taking damage. I don't think.
Well, he has zero head movement, right? Which was related to his having no lateral movement. Right?
Yeah.
So like his only responses are really to like try to cover up and maybe duck his head.
And try to catch you, and then try to catch you. It's almost like when Mike Tyson fought Lennox Lewis. Like Lennox Lewis beat him with no resistance. There was nothing Tyson could do. And this is, Tyson was, I guess you could say, past his prime. But but still, Tyson knew how to get inside on longer, taller
guys.
I
mean, he had to. That's if he didn't know how to do that, he would have had no success ever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, the thing with Tyson is he wasn't a game fighter, but that happened to him when you took him past rounds that he was comfortable.
8, 9,
You saw that when he fought Razor Riddick.
Yeah, Razor Riddick.
A lot of people don't remember. Now he won those fights, but I'm just saying Razor Riddick wasn't intimidated by Mike Tyson at all.
Yeah, he stretched his ass. He stretched Tyson. He Tyson stressed out.
And you see that, man. Like once guys don't bow down to that, because here's the thing about Mike
Tyson's pressure. They don't bow down to the pressure. And Adam made a good point before we started recording, right? Where I was talking to him before we started recording about how Tyson Fury didn't really seem afraid and press forward, and Wilder didn't know what to do about it. And Adam made a good point. He said that Fury took 2 of his shots, got knocked down, and got back up. So he kind of didn't have that PTSD that Ortiz had. Like Ortiz,
because Ortiz got knocked out.
Yeah, Ortiz had that PTSD that second time from getting slept. The first time, even though he had all the skills in the world, he was afraid to try to come in and close it. But Fury was like, yo, it didn't feel good, but I could get up again. Like,
right.
And he's already kind of crazy, like Mario said.
There's a world of difference between Mike Tyson's power and the kind of power that Deontay Wilder has, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Tyson, he'd hit guys and then, but they'll be like, I don't want to get back up.
It was an accumulation of punches.
Right. Now,
and it was combos too.
Right.
Like Wilder's literally one punch.
Wilder is like killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilder has sort of freak power, right? But it's one punch. It's like this overhand looping shot.
Right.
It's not even a combo. It's not.
No. There's no setting up
combos. It was a 2-3 punch combo. Like
Fury. So I think Mario, you mentioned that like before they even or no, maybe it was T. You said like Andy Ruiz had told a story about how like when he was learning how to box, they had him work on his jab for 5 months.
Yeah,
maybe if Wilder just did that, like I would honestly recommend him just doing that.
Yeah. Just gonna duck jab, maybe
one type of jab. I'm not saying you got to learn like a stick jab and like a range finding jab and doing all. No, just like a regular, like sort of strong jab.
If I were him, I'd get with one of Emmanuel Stewart's disciples. Get with somebody that came up in that crunk system.
Yeah,
and they'll give you what you need, man. He definitely needs to switch it up now because he's been into. If you really think about it, he got outboxed by Ortiz during that first fight, right?
Yeah.
He got outboxed by Fury the first fight. He definitely got outboxed in this fight,
right?
Yeah.
So you could really say 3 of his last 4 fights or so, right? He got outboxed in a lot of those fights.
But part of the problem, and he said this himself, and this is a flaw in him, he it's to him that's a feature, not a bug. He plans to get a box. He said so because he's that confident in his right hand. He's explicitly said, "I don't care about winning rounds. I don't care about points because I'm gonna sleep you before the end anyway."
He says that you guys have to be perfect for 12 rounds. I got to be perfect for 12 seconds.
Okay, well, I mean, if that's his attitude, then
that's a problem.
No. That's not his fault. That's his trainer's fault.
Exactly, and I want to get to that next. Is his corner because you kind of saw the problem in the attitude in his corner when his corner had nothing to tell him because you could tell his corner was encouraging that attitude of you don't have to.
I think it was the third, fourth, or fifth round. I can't remember what round it was. He came back and he was bloody, and they didn't say shit.
They didn't say anything.
Like, their corner work was awful.
It was really bad. I think it's because they encourage that attitude in him about, hey, they have to be perfect for 12 rounds. You don't have to be perfect for 12 seconds. And then
that's bad, man.
But you're gonna give him advice. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, even with that attitude, you can say like,
no, but the problem is
a little bit more.
But the problem is your advice.
Maybe they were shocked.
But this is the problem. That advice has to be given on the fundamentals they gave you. So they can't say, hey, okay, do this that we taught you before.
Like we've talked about, we've trained. Yeah,
exactly. They can't give him the corner advice because they've built no fundamentals in him except,
and that's on them. Then
all you have to do is be perfect for 12 seconds.
But you know what? Even with that, they could have at least done like I don't know if you guys remember when Michael Moore was fighting when he beat I think it was Evander Holyfield and Emmanuel Stewart was his trainer.
Yeah,
and he would tell him, kid, you're blowing it.
I remember that.
You're blowing it. Even if you just do that. And I'm yelling at the TV, man. You got to dig deep. Like I don't know whatever
that's true.
Absolutely right.
Like moral support, something.
Yes,
that's why get him.
That's why I think he should go with Virgil Hunter, Andre Ward's old trainer, because Virgil Hunter. That's what he did with Andre Ward against Sergey Kovalev in the first fight. He's like, dude, you're getting beat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would say Roger Mayweather, but he can't train anymore. But it's got to be somebody that is going to let Wilder know, motherfucker, you ain't that special.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't that special.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to break him down a little bit. And you only got about a good 2-3 years left of prime boxing.
But the heavyweight division 31 already, right?
He's 34.
Yeah, he's 34.
Wilder's 34.
Yeah. He's older than Fury.
But he started older.
He started late.
Right.
Yeah, he started late.
So there's a little bit, a little bit longer than you would expect.
Yeah, he's a little longer
Henry Black. Yeah, Henry Black in the comments said Deontay is too one-dimensional and Fury better studied and knew his opponent. He's too predictable. Everyone knows what he's about, and but I think people didn't know what he was about, but it was just
anything about it.
Yeah, I dare you to capitalize on it. It's like that Nolan Ryan fastball, and I
don't care what anybody says. Wilder has much more toughness than what he displayed last night.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's why it was a surprise.
Right? Yeah.
Say what you want about the I knew that coming in. Lack of toughness and being a game fighter, that's something that none of us expected at all. And I don't think, think it's because he just got his ass whooped and he was whatever happened, he just wasn't game.
And maybe what Ken said is true about carrying all those titles in America in that moment, you know. And it's gonna sound a little corny, but maybe Black History might have something to do with it too. Seriously,
I mean, even Joe Louis when he lost to Schmeling the first time.
Schmeling, yes, that's a perfect example.
He felt it, right? Like he knew that it was sort of not just for Black people in America, but America.
Right?
And it was like, World War II, the United States hadn't entered World War II yet, but I think everyone was aware what was happening, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then, but Joe Louis happens to be like top 5 or arguably the best heavyweight ever. So, he's not Wilder. He's everything Wilder isn't.
This is the pressure that Wilder, because people start talking about the skills and he's one dimension. None of that. Boxing is 80% psychological.
It is absolutely. We're saying that, right?
Yeah. The fact that you have a trainer. Mike Tyson talked about this when he said he first started training in the Catskills with Customato, and he said he thought Customato was a pedophile because he kept on saying how beautiful he was, how skilled he was, how great he was. He thought he was a pedophile.
Right.
He's calling me beautiful. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? What did Muhammad Ali say to Sonny Liston. They said Muhammad Ali drove a bus to Sonny Liston's house and was on a bullhorn. And Sonny Liston almost got a gun and went to shoot him. You know what I'm saying? Because he had that much confidence. He needed that. People don't understand. Sonny Liston was the baddest motherfucker on
Sonny Liston is, he was a good fighter.
He was he destroyed Floyd Patterson so bad. Americans hated him because Floyd Patterson was like
he was a darling. Everyone loved Floyd Patterson.
Yeah. So for Deontay Wilder, he's carrying America on his back. He's carrying Black America on his back. He's carrying the heavyweight division because the heavyweight division ain't shit if you don't have an American heavyweight. So all of these things, and not only that, they broke the gate record last night.
Did they?
Yeah, they broke the record last night, and that wasn't because of Fury, because Fury has fought on pay-per-view for the last 3 or 4 fights, and ain't nobody watching that shit. So we
Fury
know
can't sell fights.
Yes, we know that Deontay Wilder is the face of boxing, not Canelo, because he can't speak English. So we know that Deontay Wilder is the face of boxing. That's how much was on the line last night, and he blew it.
And people love to see somebody that can close the show.
Yeah,
people love knockouts.
Fashion.
For me, really the number one reason why people love the heavyweights. They're looking for the knockout.
Looking for the knockout.
If they were there for like skill and just like punches, they would love the bantamweight. Like Devarte would be a really exciting fighter, but people are like, "Oh, he's 115 pounds. I could beat that guy." I'm like, "No, you couldn't."
You're not gonna get anybody in the heavyweight division doing angles like Vasyl Lomachenko. Okay,
exactly.
That's never been the case when it comes to you talking about the heavyweights. The way they always describe the heavyweight when they say, "Oh, he's got great defense," it's someone like Lennox Lewis who's a great counterpuncher, or a guy who can avoid, because they don't have the athleticism as a Floyd Mayweather or my guy back in the day. I used to love Corey Spinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great athlete. You know what I mean? Zab Judah, great athlete. You know, Pernell Whitaker. You know what I mean? Pernell Whitaker. Nobody's moving in the heavyweight division like Sweet Pea Whitaker. So for when people saying he's one dimension, all that, I can name a whole lot of fucking heavyweight. George Foreman was one dimension.
Absolutely.
The closest you would see to that was Mike Tyson in his prime. With that type of elusiveness, Mike Tyson in his prime. That's about it, man.
He was a freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? Larry Holmes, freak of nature.
Yeah.
You know, dude, if you watch Tyson's early fights with Custom Auto too, the amount of head movement that he had a lot of head. He almost had too much head movement. If you look at the old fights, his head was all like Wilder. Looks like his neck is
when he came back during his second run after getting home from prison, he didn't have that same movement.
He didn't have that head movement.
No,
but at least at one point he did. And Wilder, I've never seen him move his head do anything.
So one of the things that people got to remember, like you remember Michael Spinks and Floyd Patterson. These guys didn't start as heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? So
Floyd Patterson's actually really small if you look at it. But that was in an era where like heavyweights were like 6 feet tall. You know?
Exactly. So when you get a guy like Floyd Patterson who has to go up against Sonny Liston, who was always a fucking heavyweight, he's gonna get matched down. But Floyd Patterson has better head movement, he's got better skills, and all that shit that boxing fans claim they like. Because I'm not gonna go on a rant for a minute, but all these fucking boxing fans love to talk about how they love skills, but when Floyd Mayweather was out skilling everybody, they didn't like it because he wasn't knocking nobody out. They like Triple G because he's knocking everybody out. When Wilder's knocking everybody out, he's only knocking out bums. Who the fuck did Triple G knock out? A bunch of fucking bums. But you love that shit. Now you got Vasyl Lomachenko using all these angles and shit. He's the greatest. But when Floyd Mayweather was doing that, it was boring. He's boring.
Yeah, I mean, people thinking Floyd was a boring fighter. I mean, he was not. Like
everybody in the chat, hit that like button for us, please. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Follow, hit subscribe, and the bell for the notifications. As apparently subscribing is not enough to get notified anymore. You gotta hit the bell.
It's been that way for a while, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm subscribed to us, and I didn't have it. I didn't have it. I actually had to type the name of the show into the search bar, and then it came up.
That's
I'm
so
like, wait a
funny.
minute, I know I'm subscribed, but I didn't hit the bell for the.
Oh shit! I should have been looking at the live comments the whole time. All right.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
But shit. So who's you guys' favorite fighters right now? Like, who you guys liking right now? It doesn't even have to be heavyweight. Like, who you guys?
Oh shit! I look at the banner. No, my favorite fighter right now is Naoya Inoue, the Japanese fighter.
Okay.
I like him a lot. I like Teofimo Lopez a lot.
Yeah, Teofimo. I like Teofimo.
I think Teofimo is a badass. I think I think he's sort of clamoring for a Lomachenko fight, and people think that it was a little too early. I think it's probably a little too early for Tio, but I think it's not as much of a landslide victory for Lomachenko as people think.
No, fuck no, hell no.
I think Tio's got the size, he's got skills, and I don't think he's going to be intimidated at all.
He's a New York Puerto Rican. No. He's the second coming of Tito Trinidad.
Yeah. And he's got better boxing skills and athleticism than Tito ever had.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got power from both sides. Like I think he's great, and I think Naoya Inoue is going to be. I think at the end of when he's done, he's going to be one of the better lighter weight fighters to ever fight.
Yeah.
I think his fight against
step up sometime soon. He's supposed to step up against somebody. I forgot who it is. It was supposed to be a really good fight.
His next fight, I'll look it up. But like the last fight is if he fought what's his name? The Filipino Flash. He fought. Why can't I remember his name?
I can't remember his name either.
He fought Nonito Donaire.
Oh yeah, Nonito. Yeah,
and it was a unanimous decision, and people were like, "Oh my god!" In a way, it got hit more than you. Yeah. That's more because Donaire is
the beast.
Even at this end of his career, is a beast. Yeah, and people sort of forget how good Donaire was.
Yeah, Nonito Donaire was supposed to be the man, and then Guillermo Rigondeaux knocked him out, and people were like tripping.
Yeah, people were tripping on that. I mean, just look up how he Donaire knocked out D'Artagnan.
Yeah,
he knocked out Fernando Montiel. Montiel was like highly regarded.
Oh, yeah.
And he just, I mean, he wiped him out. And like his skill level, like he was sort of in the matrix for like maybe like a few years where it was just he just knew everything that was coming. Like in that Montiel fight, and Montiel got up from this. Montiel hit him with the right hand, and Donaire must have known it was coming because he hit him with that like a rocket left hook counter, and Montiel didn't know where it came from. It could have come from the moon, and he was on his back. He fell down straight on his back, and he was like swimming his legs. Like his body wasn't doing what he wanted it to do, and it was just. And you were like, how is he going to get up from that? And he did. He got up, but and then he got stopped like a second later. But so like in a way, getting sort of bloodied up, but winning that decision says more to me about how good Inoue is than some sort of like he's exposed or all that shit. I hate when people say boxers are exposed, like whatever. It's just so lazy. Like what? No one's invincible. Like
we'll see.
They said the same thing about Errol Spence when he fought Sean Porter, and they don't. Most people, I hate to say this, like repeat Roger Mayweather, but most people don't know shit about boxing.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, Sean Porter smothers the fuck out of you. Like, there's really nothing you could do about that. He's a smothering fighter. My favorite fighter is Errol.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Errol really Spence is my favorite fighter. I just like the body work. His body.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
you're talking about Spence?
Yeah.
I like Spence too. How do you guys feel about Crawford?
I like Crawford.
I like Crawford too.
I'd rate Crawford better than Lomachenko, to be honest. I think he'd beat Lomachenko.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think Loma is a little overrated.
Yeah.
I think he got knocked down. He got hit hard by Linares, and Linares is a fine fighter. Don't get me wrong, but he's not nearly as good as Bud Crawford.
No.
And I think if Bud Crawford hit Lomachenko with that, he would have been able to close the show.
They're gonna protect Lomachenko anyway because he just gave. He had the belt. He had the WBC belt, and he dropped it and gave it to Devin Haney. So that right there, yeah. He don't want no. Devin Haney's gonna be a bad boy. Just not.
Haney's good too.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
My worry about him is I hope they don't burn him out early, like with Fernando Vargas back in the day.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's always my biggest thing with Vargas. I just felt like he got fed too much too early, and they burned him out before he could really hit his stride. And
they did. They put him up against Tito Trinidad way before he should have.
Right.
And then and Vargas is a warrior. Right. He wasn't. I mean, he got hit with some left hooks. Like I don't know how his head was still in his body.
Yeah, and he's still like, come on. The effects of that to this day, man. He You know, he was never the same after that fight.
He got hit with how many? He got hit with like 5 left hooks in that fight, where like almost anyone else would have just been knocked out.
Yeah, he's
but
tough.
He's so tough.
Yeah,
and like
they fed him to Tito, and then they fed him to Oscar, and Oscar just
he destroyed him.
Yeah, it was really. Oscar knew it too, because remember he had been trolling Oscar for years.
Hey, remember he was calling him a fake Mexican?
Mexican and all
that.
Yeah. And Oscar waited until he was nice and seasoned.
Yeah,
he just ate his ass.
You know what I like that nobody really talks about is Gervonta Davis. I feel like nobody.
Oh, Tank,
really
he's good.
People really talk about him too much, but
I feel like maybe he's the most naturally gifted. He
makes it look very effortless. I like how effortless he makes it look, which is nice.
If Gervonta Davis was 5'9", he'd be a fucking monster. But he's only 5'3". He's only 5'3".
Yeah. I'm concerned about more just his head and like outside of the ring.
Yep, me too.
With Davis,
that's very true.
It's not like I'm worried about him not being a good fighter. I'd feel like he won't reach the ceiling if he lets the shenanigans get in the way.
Well, he's got a lot of demons, I think.
Oh, he's running around with Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, but when I started seeing guys like him, he's only 25, 26?
He's young, but not as young as he was. 25 is.
You start seeing guys like him consistently missing weight, that worries me.
Yes, very worrying.
You're only 5'3", so you're never going to the welterweight division. You can forget that shit.
Yeah.
So you're going to be stuck between 130, 135, maybe a catch weight, maybe a fight at 140, maybe.
He's having trouble making weight, man. That's
but in the opposite direction, right? You can get heavy enough. At 5'3", come on.
Oh, Jamal Charlo's a beast. A beast.
Yeah, Charlo's good.
He's one of my. I think. Yeah, I've really been liking him the last few fights. Man.
Me too.
Yeah, he's a beast. These are the guys. These are the guys that get a lot of hate because they're with Al Heyman, PBC, and what people got to understand is that for those of us, I know we're all old enough to remember, but there was quite a few times where we didn't have no boxing on TV. All we had was paper. And Al Heyman brought free TV. That Jamal Charlo and Harrison fight was on free TV. That's a title fight on free TV.
Dude, I love the PBC.
Yeah,
I mean, I think in terms of and there was like a good 30 years where there was no boxing on cable.
Yeah,
like that was like when the Wild Wars of Sports ended, like that was gone, and then it was only pay-per-view, and then PBC started 2-3 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. You know, one thing I will say, I know you guys probably remember those good Don King cards. Like you can get, I remember the Razor Ruddock and Tyson fight had Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. on Julio, not Jr. but Senior. Julio Cesar Chavez was on that. Meldrick Taylor was on that card. Pernell Whitaker was on that card. We don't get cards like that anymore.
No.
Yeah. Well, we don't really have fighters like that anymore. Well, we do some, but they're not all in the same promotion. They can't play nice.
So and they're all going to try to get their own pay-per-view. Like they're not going to all get on the same card.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like
now hold on a minute now. Now I didn't hear any of you guys mention Canelo. Come on, man. Y'all not gonna give Canelo Alvarez no love, man. Really?
Hey, he's a good fighter. He's just not a fighter I like. I mean,
because if you're talking about like versus skills, like it's different. Like I'm not going to either. He's just not.
Yeah, no, I'll admit that.
Yes, who do you like?
Canelo is a good fighter. I don't know. I guess I would cop to the charge of being a little bit of a hater on him, but.
I was going to say to not get a mention at all. I'm like, wait a minute, man.
Especially his recent shenanigans of that last thing he did too with abandoning the.
What happened with him?
What did he do?
Didn't he do something with abandoning the belt or something? Was that?
Yeah.
Canelo did?
Yeah, he dropped the belt to Charlo. Charlo was the mandatory. He wouldn't fight him and dropped the belt. So this is my thing with Canelo. Canelo's a great fighter, but this is why
I don't like when he does stuff like that.
Well, this is what he does. If you look at all of Canelo's fights, probably like 6-7 of them, they're always at these made-up weight classes. 155. 152.
Yeah, he plays dumb. He plays dumb games. He plays dumb games.
He goes and he jumps up to 175. He fights Sergey Kovalev, and I believe that fight was fixed. He'll jump up to he jumps up to 168 and fights Rocky Fielding and all these dudes, because what they're trying to do is build his legacy so they can say, he's a 5 division champion.
Yeah, so like
exactly. He'll win a mid-up division, and then when it's time for him to fight somebody real at that division, he'll suddenly abandon that belt division.
Well, he's in the Canelo division, T. I mean, that's a legitimate division, right? So Stacey D was saying in the comments that she doesn't like Canelo because he's skillless, and I would not go that far at all. As much of a hater as I am, Canelo is
prime
not.
Hating. Hold on.
That is
Stacey D is the hater of the years. That is
get out of here, Stacey.
We appreciate the comment because there's something for us to talk about. But
hold on. I'm giving Stacey the chef's gift. The chef's hater.
That's the take of the episode. Canelo has skills. Let's not be delusional about Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo, he might actually beat Charlo. He probably can beat him. Caleb Plant. He could probably beat these guys.
Oh, he could beat Plant easy.
Yeah, but
Plant does not nearly have enough power to keep.
No,
Canelo
I don't
honest.
think Charlo is even ready for him. To be honest with you, I don't know if Charlo's ready.
I personally don't think Charlo can beat him, but I think it'll be a good fight.
It'd be a great.
It'll be a live fight. Yes, it would definitely be a fight that Canelo hasn't had in a while. Yeah.
But after I seen him stand and bang with Triple D like that, man, they were like two rams. In the middle of the ring with their horn.
Yeah. Stacey D came back. She's like, okay, bring it. I'm ready.
Well, I think we've admitted and we've said, like, one of the big criticisms about Canelo is they do cater to him. You know, they do give it make up these weight classes, so they give him the best opportunity.
Is that Golden Boy doing that, or is it like he was following his team and it's like, okay, whatever,
man? That's Oscar.
That's boxing, right? I mean, when has that not happened in boxing?
And that pisses me off about Oscar because he knows better than that, man. Like he oughta the shit that he went through before he left.
That's true.
Top rank. It's like, dude, come on, don't come to boxing and start your own promotion and then play these kind of games.
But this is the thing, though. As boxing fans, I always liken boxing fans to prostitutes because the promoters kick the fuck out of the fans. Look, you can go on YouTube and you'll hear fans. You go on Twitter, hear YouTube or Twitter, hear fans saying the shit that promoters say. Oh yeah, we got to build up the fight. Oh no, we don't. No, Terrence Crawford and Errol, it's gonna happen. But we got to build up. Man, fuck building the fight up. Fight. Period.
And that's the advantage that MMA has over boxing.
They make everybody fight each other. Yes.
Well, they have only one sanctioning body, right? Really, they have UFC. And Dana White.
Yeah.
And there are bad things about that too, because the fighters don't make nearly any money. Other than the champion.
They're starting to get up. The purses are getting better, but it's so bad over there right now. They're talking about unionizing. Like that's how.
Hey, I'd be for it. Unionize. Have like a have like a UFC fighters union, like Major League Baseball players or all the other major sports have union, right?
And they're about to go through a major strike in the NFL. I don't know if you guys know about it, but the NFL is about to go on strike.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Really?
They got the weakest players league, the players association. They got the weakest union of all professional
I'd be really impressed. Honestly, this is what if the NFL went on strike.
They're claiming they're going to do it because they want to add an extra game to the regular season.
I saw that.
Yeah, and
that is insane.
Hold on, but not just that. They're going to add an extra round to the playoffs.
That's insane.
What?
Extra round? Not even an extra.
An extra round. So this is the crazy thing. This is the
one more. 2 games.
Added more wild card teams. But this is the crazy thing. NFL players, their contracts are for 17 games. So what they're saying is for that 18th game, just pay everybody $125,000. The players are like, fuck that.
120. What?
Yeah, bro. Wow. NFL players get hosed. They're getting
fucked. Like, okay, the only way that I would, if I were an NFL player, be like, the only way I'm going to agree to a potentially 2 more games or guaranteed 1 more game is if every contract for every player has to be guaranteed money. 100%.
Yep.
That is the only way I'm doing that.
That was the reason why. That was the reason why when Kirk Cousins was a free agent, teams wanted him to sign with the Jets because the Jets were going to give him $50 million guaranteed. Yeah. And it would have set a precedent in the NFL for guaranteed contracts, which more than likely somebody got in his ear, and probably the owner for the Vikings and said, "Hey, man, if you don't do that, we'll slide a little something under the table because we can't have no guaranteed contracts." But the NFL, the Players Association, is like, we need guaranteed contracts. So what the trade-off is, they're going to give them more in revenue sharing. That's not enough.
How is that going to work? I mean, which players get a percentage of what, and like
so the Aaron Rodgers and the Russell Wilsons and the Pat Mahomes, they'll get that share, but that fourth string running back who is in and out of the league, he ain't getting shit. He's barely getting the pension if he retires. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing about it is, especially with how replaceable, I'm having a brain freeze, how easily replaceable they treat running backs now. You know what I mean? Like it's not the days of the Emmitt Smiths and the franchise running backs. Those days are gone.
Yeah, it's an era of, they're not a prestige position as much.
Hell, receivers are not anymore. You know what I mean?
Really
like it's
the days of seeing Emmitt Smith get 35 carries for 157 yards are over. You ain't gonna see no running back getting 35 carries. Even the kid in Tennessee, Derrick Henry, in about 2 years, he's gonna be gone because they're gonna be like, okay, we're not giving you
guaranteed. Look how the 49ers did.
Oh, your boy.
I can't think of his damn name right now.
Yeah, he didn't even get a touch.
He didn't even get a snap, bro. Like, are you serious?
Yeah,
he didn't even get a snap.
Yeah.
Like, what did he do? Did he smash the coach's daughter or some shit? Like, I'm serious.
Yeah, probably.
He did something, man, because I noticed that too. So the NFL, in boxing, they don't have a union, but which they should, because I heard a really, really sad story about Leon Spinks at a convention. Leon Spinks, I think I told you guys about this.
Leon
he was at a convention in Vegas.
I'll be right back.
Leon Spinks was at a convention in Vegas, and they were signing gloves, all that kind of stuff. And, they said he was talking to a guy that has a YouTube channel. He was like, "Man, they saying that," this is Leon Speaks talking. He said, "Man, they're saying that the guy that beat Ali is here," and the guy was like, "That's you, champ." He didn't even know. That's how far he's gone. You know what I'm saying? He's checked out, So for boxers, and more than likely Leon Spinks doesn't have the money. You know what I'm saying? It's all bad for him. You know what I'm saying? So all of these dudes in combat sports, hockey, their players are taken care of. Major League Baseball, their players are taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the most important thing these unions need to do is not protect the upper end of their player pool, right? Protect the 80. Protect the back 60% of players.
Yeah,
who are never going to see that $1 million contract or more.
That's a big problem. We're gonna have an episode about that where we had some guy talking about the NBA players union and that discrepancy between the top guys and the mass of players in every sport kind of makes the unions a mess.
Yeah, but the NBA has a pretty nice vets minimum.
They're good.
Man. Like,
they do, and and Major League Baseball is the strongest union. Yeah.
And they take care of their old timers too.
Major League Baseball's old timers are taking care of the NBA. NBA players are getting the contracts in the NBA are so ridiculous.
It's a joke.
You have guys that are literally playing 18 minutes a game, and they're getting 120 million.
More than Karl Malone ever made in his life. Yeah. A guy averaging 6 points and 12 rebounds, making more than Magic Johnson ever made.
It
sounds ridiculous, and it is ridiculous when you put it in that perspective. But I'm happier when the players get these ridiculous contracts, as I'm like, at least they're getting paid.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're the reason why the leagues are it can exist. And these owners are all billionaires; they can afford it. So, I don't care if the owners are saddled with these bad contracts. Let these contracts be as large as possible. And the NHL got its own dumb self into trouble with huge contracts.
Yeah,
and then they had to put all these salary caps and all these things, and the players aren't getting paid as much as they used to. I'm like,
and they don't have any TV contracts. Like the NHL is not on ESPN anymore. Like the NHL used to be on ESPN, but you got in the NBA, you got owners like the LeCoultre family, with the Warriors, and what's the guy's name for the Clippers, Mario, down in LA?
Oh, Steve
Ballmer.
Ballmer, there you go.
Oh, that's right. The Microsoft guy. He owns the Clippers, right?
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
man.
the Lakers are the only team in the NBA that's still owned by a family. Everybody else, pretty much. I'm trying to think, is there anyone else?
I think the Knicks is owned by.
Yes.
So I think
how many times has the Knicks changed owners?
A few times.
A couple times. Yeah, the Lakers have been in the hands of the Buss family for a while now, man. And like they don't have the connections with the high end.
No.
They're purely brand. Like their revenue comes purely from them being the Lakers. That's where they don't get these influxes of cash.
They don't have Lakers, if for whatever reason the Lakers wanted to give the name back to Minnesota, it would be the worst thing that could ever happen for them.
Exactly.
No.
Because they can print money with that name.
Yes.
They can print money.
The Lakers as a name is probably, especially after the Kobe Bryant thing, the Lakers is probably bigger than the league.
No, it's true. Yeah. The intellectual property from that name is
probably bigger. It's like the Yankees in Major League Baseball. It's bigger than baseball.
Yeah, for sure, man.
The Yankee hat is iconic. You know?
Yeah. Lakers and Yankees are some of those teams where they have more fans than the actual sport. Like there's a lot of people who don't give a fuck about those respective sports, but love like those franchises.
Well,
a lot of casual fans too.
That's why the Knicks continue to suck, but sell out the Garden every year.
Yep.
Which I kind of wish that people would sort of stop watching them so that like they lose money and realize they need to spend money to get them back, but they don't need to. And it perpetually pisses me off as a Knicks fan.
Yeah, I feel
Outlaw KK said he thought hockey had a bad union. Ken, didn't you just touch on that?
Yeah, they don't have a bad union, not NHL. No.
I wonder if Outlaws. Why do you say that they have a bad union? I don't know much about the NHL union. I know the MLB union's good. The NBA union's pretty good. The NFL union is pretty bad.
Union, what year was that the NHL went on strike? That was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
It was in the late 90s. But I think it was the same year the NBA went on strike in 98, 99.
Could be. Yeah. I remember it was highly controversial, though. Yeah. I do remember that.
What hurts the NHL is that they don't have one, there's no teams in Canada winning championships. 1, 2, they don't have a TV contract like ESPN. I think they're on NBC Sports, which is a cable channel that you got to actually look for. They come on NBC every blue moon. But the NHL is hurting because how do you sell that sport to the inner city?
Well, the thing that they have going for themselves is very recently they had 2 Los Angeles area teams do very well. So you had the Kings and then the Ducks. I think the Ducks won some years back too. So, having 2 Southern California teams playing well, that helps add to the popularity of the sport, But I don't, it's funny, man. The NHL is an interesting case, man, because they do, for them not to have the television and the advertisement that a lot of the other big leagues have, they do well for themselves.
They have a very strong niche, right?
I'll tell you this. The NHL, when it comes to attendance, it outdraws the NBA.
Okay.
Does it?
Yes. Attendance wise.
Wow. Because hockey is a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I like of I would say the 4 or 5 leagues, and I include the MLS in that. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do. I think hockey, like watching a hockey game, is like 1 or 2. It's like either the top or the second for me. I really enjoy watching hockey. It's always there's action. It's easy to understand. I think
if you understand the sport. If you understand the rules, I'll say this: playoff hockey is
it's exciting.
Playoff basketball. It's better.
It's so exciting, and there isn't so much like when the game like gets close to the end. It's going to take another hour for the game to end. Like, there's like 5 minutes left. There's about 5 minutes left in the game. You know what I mean?
There's only 3 periods.
The payoff when they get a goal is similar to soccer.
Yes.
They have increased the scoring, but yes, it's a lot less than other sports where goals matter more.
So it's very similar to soccer in that way.
But there's no out of bounds, right? I mean, the game only stops when like the puck might go into the stands, but that doesn't happen as often.
82 Atlantic is something interesting. 25 out of 30 NBA teams are in the red financially every year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Damn. And the ratings on TV are atrocious. The NBA fucked up when they allowed free players, and I believe the players should be able to go wherever they want to go. But what they did was the NBA, whether people want to believe it or not, the NBA influences players to go certain places.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing that for years. And the reason why is because when the NBA, and I don't think any of us is old enough to remember this, when the NBA was on tape delay, and that was in the early 80s. Early 80s. That was when there was a huge cocaine problem in the league. People like Roy Tarpley and Michael Ray Richardson, all these dudes going to jail and getting kicked out and shit. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird saved the NBA.
Yeah.
Remember Len Bias, man? Len Bias.
Yeah, Len Bias. Yeah. So Larry Bird and Magic saved the league. They get old. Michael Jordan becomes something that we never would have believed. Then you got the young guns with the Mashburns, Jason Kidd, Grant Hill, Vince Carter. Kobe then comes. Now we're at LeBron, but now we don't have anything left for this because of the college game. Can anybody tell me what the top 5 teams are in college basketball right now?
Butler.
I don't know. That's
Butler's number 1. That's all I know.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Towards back in the 90s, I knew what Providence was doing in St. John's and UCLA and Arizona. And I don't know shit about college basketball.
Because I could tell you right now, college basketball for me is unwatchable.
It's unwatchable because we don't know the
refs. The refs fucking. I can't stand the refereeing in college basketball. They take over the game. They want to enter. They just everything is a whistle. It's crazy to me. I can't take it. So that got me out of watching college basketball.
I'm actually sort of the opposite. I can't stand the NBA game.
Oh no, I can't watch the NBA game.
I can't stand the NBA game. I can't stand hero ball. Yeah. I can't stand. It's fast, but like too slow at the same time. I like the college game. I don't know. Maybe I like. I don't know. Maybe I like jump shots.
The college game. I like the college game in the tournament during the regular season. Like North Carolina, I was at the gym the other day, and North Carolina was playing Louisville, and I looked at North Carolina's record, and they're like 10-23. I'm like, what the fuck happened to them?
Yeah. And Duke got like killed by an unranked team, and I actually kind of like that because I sort of hate Duke.
But a lot of parity now because there's a lot of one and dones. All these kids are going to school for 1 year and to the NBA.
Yeah, that's right.
The one and done rule sort of made it worse than when people were 18 coming out of it, when you didn't have one at all.
Exactly. And what it did was it watered down the NBA. The NBA has too many teams. So when you have this many teams and all these young guys, they don't have any fun. One thing, if you guys remember vividly back in the day, on every NBA team, there was always an old veteran on the team. Yeah. He might not even play that much, but they always got an old guy. The NBA don't have that shit no more.
You're right.
So you're watching this watered down product, and it's like, okay, all of these players are coming from AAU, which is mistake number 1. 2, they're coming one and done from college. The college coaches have changed. You got guys like Coach K who used to never recruit one and done players. Yeah. Now he's like, fuck it, you got to do it.
So now it's becoming a big pickup game now because
it is. That's exactly what it looks like.
People are too young and not seasoned enough, and it's just a giant pickup game. And it's great highlights, but
they asked Isaiah Thomas. You guys remember back in the day, you used to call it picking up 94 feet. Guys would play defense for 94 feet. You pass the ball and there's a dude on your ass. Now guys don't pick you up until half court. So they asked Isaiah Thomas, what could the league do to change like defense in the league? He said, you can't. He said, because you don't have time. This is stuff you were supposed to learn in college. So that's why the game is suffering so bad. You look at, everybody looks at Ray Allen and Reggie Lewis as like iconic 3-point shooters. Look at Reggie Miller's stats of how many 3-pointers he took a game. It's not very many.
Well, the game was completely different, right? I mean, I think
he shot maybe 4 3-pointers per game. You got dudes now shooting like 9 a game.
9, 10, 12, 13 3-pointers.
Yeah, because
Steph Curry.
Changed the game. And that's why I say he has more impact than LeBron, because he actually changed the game. So look at it like this.
Good point. Yeah, that was the point you were making.
This is how the league goes. You come down court, you shoot a 3. Now, you know that if you miss, it's a long rebound. So it's a long rebound, you go run down there. So now you run down there, you might get a layup. If you miss the layup, you don't put it back up. You kick out for another 3. So now another long rebound. Here we go running. It's a bad game to watch, and you can't.
That is because they allowed the stat geeks to take over general manager positions, and the whole league has basically become the same as what happened with Major League Baseball. That the Billy Beans and with Moneyball and that whole philosophy has come over into the NBA.
Yes.
So that's
analytics, all the analytics
type of thing.
Analytics,
and analytics has made its way into the NFL. That's why they have this new stat called QBR. But in the NFL, no matter, I don't give a damn what happens. You have to be able to run the ball and you have to play defense. Right. It doesn't matter. Look, analytics was perfect. Look at the Ravens. That team is all analytics. But they played against one team who didn't even throw the ball. They just ran it the whole fucking game. And put
analytics is great in a game that's not as dynamic. Basketball is just is constant movement, so the game is dynamic. So when you don't have a Steph Curry, right, a guy who can score and shoot, because those are two different skill sets, and he blends both of them perfectly. A guy who can be both scorer and shooter. Those are two different things. He's both. Not everybody has that guy on their team, and not everybody has a Klay Thompson. You know, you talk about two of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time on one team together. Not everybody has that. So what you end up getting is these teams like the Rockets with James Harden that think that they could jack up three after three after three.
They just dribble the air out of the ball.
Right. And then what happens in playoff time?
Watching James Harden play basketball. It is
when torture. Playoff time comes, what do? They cut off his drives.
It's
and defend the 3-point line.
It's a hard watch. And, I tell people this all the time. Today's players aren't great basketball players. They're great athletes. Larry Bird was a great basketball player. He was a shitty athlete.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the builds, their stamina, everything was different. Now you got jacked. These guys have, like, a whole bunch of doctors and trainers. And you're right. They're, like, great athletes. But
they don't have the fundamentals. The death of the big man in the NBA was another thing that has – really changed the league. They don't even know how to train big men anymore.
That's
they can't even train big men anymore. I remember they had LeBron working with Akeem Olajuwon for a whole summer. He ain't learned shit. Now LeBron still don't have no low post game.
It's gotten much better than what it was in the past. I'll give it that to him. I'll say this about LeBron. I'll say this about LeBron. In my observation, I think I haven't seen a guy come into the league with as many weaknesses as he had in his game, and then work to close the gaps on a lot of those weaknesses over the time.
That's true.
I haven't seen that. I don't think.
And he's also the only player that had that much hype. He had so much hype his high school games were on TV
and lived up to it.
Exceeded it.
In a lot of ways.
He exceeded the hype.
I've never been a fan of his. I still cringe seeing him play for the Lakers. My mom calls me up and asks, "You watching the Lakers?" I'm like,
"It's hard, man. It's hard.
It's hard, man."
Hold on. From the outside looking, you know what LeBron and the Lakers reminds me of? Because I experienced this in New York because I'm a Yankees fan. Like A-Rod came to the Yankees.
Yes.
Never really felt like a Yankee.
Absolutely. And you're like, we got A-Rod.
But he just felt like it was A-Rod and the Yankees. It was like, it didn't really feel like he meshed.
Yeah,
that's a perfect analogy.
That's exactly what it's like.
That is a great analogy.
Exactly what it's like.
And then you had the home. You had the Derek Jeter, who was, that was the son.
Is he gonna move aside for A-Rod? Like they wanted to move Jeter aside and let A-Rod shine. And I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a Dodger fan. And even I was like, you can't fucking move Jeter to the side for this bum. Are you serious?
Right. Yeah.
Look, okay. I love Derek Jeter. A-Rod is the superior athlete.
I mean, no one's denying.
He's the better fielder and he's the better hitter.
Yeah, but it's about the loyalty. It's about just
his position
absolutely.
Was shortstop, and I would have, and I was of the same thinking. Like you cannot move Jeter from shortstop. I don't care if A-Rod is freaking Pee Wee Reese.
Yeah,
you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like he could be Ozzie Smith. You're not moving Derek Jeter from shortstop, all right?
Jeter, man. No.
But if I were the manager of the Yankees and I was like, I need to win, and part of that is playing defense, I might have considered it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But obviously it didn't happen. But
back to the NBA. I see 82 Atlantic said load management has also ruined the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how prevalent is that really.
What is meant by load management? Is that sort of like pitch counts and
resting guys? It's basically it's the Greg Popovich philosophy.
Yeah,
you remember Greg Popovich?
Yeah,
you'd have Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. Just all of a sudden, they're all not playing in the game.
Oh, okay.
Spurs used to do that a few times a year.
Kawhi Leonard sits out a lot of games.
Oh yeah.
But outside of that, who's really doing that?
Well, no, I'll say this. As a player, I'd be a fan of it. But as a fan, if I live in Portland, and say the Milwaukee Bucks, we only get the chance to see them once a year.
Right, but, and Giannis doesn't play that game.
Exactly. I'm pissed.
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, they're paying money to go to games, and they don't get to see the player play during that game.
I would be pissed. I definitely.
You know how much that ticket is going to cost? And you don't know that they're going to play until game time. You don't know. So I just paid $150 for this fucking ticket, and your punk ass ain't gonna play. You know what? I'll meet you in the locker room, dude.
Wait, you don't have a spreadsheet where you track the trends of how many games that they play usually before they take a break? Wait, you haven't done the regression on that? Come on, man.
Analytics. Giannis is sitting out a game on the road every 9 games.
Analytics isn't just for Billy Bean, all right?
Right.
Well, shit. Let's keep it 100 though. With Kawhi Leonard, you know what I mean. If he's not sitting out due to load management, he's going to be injured.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Because the guy hasn't proven to stay healthy. Yeah, he hasn't proven to stay healthy for the duration of an entire season. I don't think it's his entire career.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought after Kobe passed away, I thought the players in the league were just gonna turn it on. Man, them motherfuckers went back to bumming it around.
Jason Tatum has turned it on.
Yeah.
The dude on the Celtics, he's been balling like crazy. He dropped 41 on the Lakers today.
Oh damn, I didn't know that.
So and also the kid in Atlanta, he's been balling out of his
Trae Young.
Trae Young. He's been
so someone mentioned Zion earlier. What do people think about Zion?
You know what? I'm pleasantly surprised.
Me too.
I've been pleasantly surprised. And you know what's scary about him to me is he still doesn't look like he's physically all the way there yet.
No, at all. He reminds me of young Sean Kemp.
Uh-huh.
That's what he reminds me of. Young Sean Kemp with a better jumper. Or Antonio McDyess, young Antonio McDyess before the knee injuries.
God,
but don't you think those are low comparisons?
Like I was going to say, I hope that's not his ceiling.
If that's his ceiling, then what the hell are people talking about?
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised, but I feel like a lot of it comes to like the weakness of what the NBA is like now, like no hand checking, no.
Right. That's what I was gonna say.
In today's league, it's hard to tell really how good he is because it's like it's just a different game now. It's weird, you know what I'm saying? Like something Ken was saying about how NBA has a lot of good athletes, but like not a lot of good players. But on top of that, you have these rules that are just there to let people just drive to the lane. Uncontested. There's no hand checking.
Yeah,
and
the guy, the dude is 285 pounds. Though.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone's saying he doesn't have the physicality, right? I mean, or the athletic explosiveness. I just don't know how much of a good basketball player he is.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I compared him to Sean Kemp and Tony McDyess because as an athletically, you know, I don't know how skilled he is. I know he's going to have a lot of fucking injuries if he doesn't lose any weight. I know that because he's only 6'7". You know, so
if that, he may not even be 6'7".
Yeah,
he might be 6'5". I mean, so for a guy like him in today's league, he's going to kill it. You know what I mean? Because what are they going to do? You know, they're not going to.
So from what I've seen, he seems to have a decent basketball IQ.
Yeah.
He passes the ball. He's not selfish with the rock. So
he's around the rim, which I like about him. He's always around the rim. He's not hanging out by the 3-point fucking line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying he's hanging around.
He's actually what I thought Julius Randle was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought Julius Randle was going to be for the Lakers what Zion is for the Pelicans right now. And unfortunately, Julius never.
Julius has always been kind of stiff.
And that's always been the issue. Yeah, he always and Zion isn't stiff. Zion isn't stiff.
No, Zion, you know, I don't know. I guess I have an instinctual desire to be contrary to the hype. And just the level of hype that people were had for Zion. And 82 Atlantic in the comment is saying that Charles Barkley is the ceiling. Yeah, people are saying Charles Barkley was Zion's ceiling.
That's a pretty damn good feeling, though.
And I'm like, really? From what I've seen, he's Charles Barkley. Like, do people realize like Charles Barkley is like an all-time great player?
I don't think people really understand how good Charles Barkley really was.
That's what I mean, right? I don't think they quite understand how good Charles Barkley was.
I actually meant that as a compliment. You thinking it's not? I thought
no, it is a compliment, and I'm saying that is such hyperbolic nonsense.
Yeah. That's,
I gotta see that. I gotta see that. Yeah.
You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not. That's not to criticize and say Zion isn't a good, whatever. He's like that. I don't like him as a person. I don't know him. I just don't think like people go crazy. Like to switch to another sport. Like people talk about Joe Burrow as like he's the second coming of John Elway. I'm like the dude had one good season in college.
He hates Joe Burrow. Adam hates Joe Burrow. He can't stand Joe Burrow.
I can't stand. I can't. I can't stand Joe Burrow. He's probably a nice young man. It's the craziness that people go.
He hates Joe Burrow. I don't understand it.
I don't like Joe Burrow fans and the hyperbole around like
you sound like
sniff.
You sound like LeBron. That's how kid is with LeBron James. He said, "I can't stand him. And I hate his fans.
I hate it. I hate him. I don't hate him. I just hate hyperbole." And it's like the dude couldn't sniff the starting roster of a team
at Ohio State. Yeah. I'll say this. I hate to say this. I can't lie, man. Joe Burrow did look like Joe Montana. I'm not gonna lie. Just based on the way he played in the pocket, that don't got shit to do with the NFL. I have no idea what's gonna happen in the NFL. And if he goes to the Bengals, he ain't gonna do shit in the NFL. Just say that now.
Yeah.
But and so I'm not. But I get what you guys mean by hyperbole. Like they said the same thing about Lonzo Ball and was comparing him to Jason Kidd. I'm like, do you guys understand who the fuck
like
talking about?
The fuck. I don't know. It's just people don't like have any perspective on this shit either. Like
Lonzo, I thought Lonzo was going to be a lot better than he turned out, man. I thought Lonzo, not saying he was going to be Jason Kidd, but I really think playing for the Lakers those couple of seasons that he was there fucked him up.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys, it was like D'Angelo Russell. They set D'Angelo Russell back a little bit, and then went out to the Nets and got into a good system, and he was able to become an all-star.
He finally filled out too. He's a big
filled out, right? Yeah, but he's a hard worker, though.
Yeah,
that's the thing about Russell. He's always been a hard worker.
Yeah,
and he put the work in.
I think going to the Lakers was his detriment because he wasn't ready to be in LA.
The situation with the Lakers has been so tenuous over the last 6 years, man. That
I couldn't imagine being D'Angelo Russell and those other young guys playing with Kobe. I bet Kobe talked about them like that. A fucking
right, yeah, and they didn't.
Oh my god, it's so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they didn't need that in their lives at that particular point in time.
But the hyperbole, it's more in the NBA more than any other sport. Like Joe Burrow is probably. Andrew Luck. I don't like Andrew Luck because they always.
Oh, I mean, he was so hyped up. Yeah. He was crazy.
Yeah, he's the great white hype. So everybody kept on making excuses for him and saying they said he was the best prospect since John Elway. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
But that's what they're saying about Joe Burrow too, and I think there's a lot of that great white hype in there too.
Yeah. Well, they need a white quarterback, baby. They need one. I mean, a brother just won a Super Bowl. You had Lamar Jackson running around with the MVP. White America. They got to figure this out.
Oh man,
Tua, I think Tua is a better NFL prospect than Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But he had one. He had one. He didn't even have a bad season. It's just that he hasn't won it in like 2 years, right? And they're like, "Oh, Tua is just not as good." I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
That's not true at all.
He came on in the worst situation where he hadn't played a fucking snap. He wins the semifinal and then he fucking dominates in the final.
Yeah, no.
He almost won a second one. But Clemson just had a better team, and then now he's like trash. Get out of here.
He had the Bo Jackson injury, so he's got some. But if it's not this year, it'll be that Trevor kid from Clemson next.
Trevor Lawrence.
He's 6'6", white dude with long hair. Get ready for it. I'm just telling you.
No. They were talking about too, but he didn't do so well this year. Clemson lost a couple of games. They didn't talk about him, And then they had to talk about Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow is like 24 years old.
Yeah, he's old.
He's been in college for 8 years. All right.
Yeah, he's
like,
an old dude. He's pretty old.
He's playing against 18-year-olds.
Wait. He's 24 in college?
No, he's not that old. He's probably like 21 or 22.
Okay, I was like,
I'm
hyperbolic.
He's a fifth-year senior, so he's about.
But he's older.
23,
okay,
yeah,
he's a fifth-year senior. Hold on. 82 Atlantic got a good question, and I would throw NFL into this question just for the hell of it. In which sport does coaching mean less? MLB or NBA? Actually, I'm not gonna throw NFL in there because I think in NFL coaching is super important. So forget that. But
mean less. Major League Baseball or the NBA?
NBA. If you got the best athlete.
I'll look at it like this: regular season coaching doesn't mean as much in the NBA, but come playoff time, when it comes to putting together a game plan for a 7-game series, coaching means a hell of a lot.
That's true.
So, but see, you could probably say the same thing for MLB. The season is so damn long.
But I think.
But they got about 57 coaches in the MLB as well.
Yeah, they have a lot of coaches. Day to day, the managers make a lot of decisions, right? You got to do the batting order, and you got to decide when the pitchers are going to come in.
Major League Baseball. I think Major League Baseball. It really boils down to coaching, but at the end of the day, the team with the best pitching is going to win.
True.
NBA
or the best cheating team. Like that.
I was just getting ready to say motherfucking Houston Astros.
Fucking Astros.
The last two champions basically.
Just so happens playing the fucking Dodgers, and they both. I called my dad, and he was like, "Yeah, I knew there was no way Clayton Kershaw could have gave up those runs late." I'm like, that motherfucker gave up runs regardless.
I gotta apologize.
We did.
For me, it was more that Chapman gave up 2 home runs to Altuve in like back-to-back games, and I'm like, and because Chapman does not have a history of choking. Kershaw has a history of choking in the playoffs. But Chapman is lights out.
I'll say this about NBA coaching. I think NBA is one place where a subpar coach can kind of float by for a long time. Because there's some coaches who is just like, they just have good players, and
David Black gets to the finals with LeBron and those guys. He gets there and he loses, and they fire him.
A lot of the NBA in the regular season, it's about management.
Yes,
playoffs is where the coaches make their money.
For example, like some really good basketball players make terrible coaches because they're just such good talents. They can't really explain things Larry Bird was another one. Like Larry Bird would just let Travis Best just dribble away all the minutes. Like,
oh man, that was I fucking hated Travis Best.
Yeah, but
he played for the Pacers. That dude, man, he would just dribble.
Yeah, just dribble away all the minutes. I'm like, why doesn't Larry Bird say something or whatever? Like Larry Bird was just sitting there letting people do whatever they wanted, you know?
Yeah, and he's like Larry Bird, and you're like, why are you not telling Travis Best what to do?
Right. I remember a game where they were playing. I want to say it was the Knicks. And they gave it to Travis Best with the seconds winding down to go for the last seconds. This motherfucker didn't even get a shot off. Dribbled the ball.
Dribbled a shot.
Dribbled
the game away, literally.
Right. And I'm just like, what the
You did the Derek Harper.
Travis Best, man. I couldn't stand that. He was the worst starting point guard. Probably.
Well, I mean, in the NBA, you have bad. I mean, Isaiah Thomas was a pretty good coach. Larry Bird got the Pacers to the finals, but you got other teams like Magic when he was a coach. Man, it just looked bad. It was bad.
I'll give it to you. You know what? Isaiah Thomas doesn't get a lot of credit as a decent coach, but he was a better coach than he was.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't
manager. He was horrible manager.
If you look at the teams that he had,
he's a pretty good coach. He actually was the coach when Damon Stoudemire got Rookie of the Year up in Toronto. So he really
it's
good.
Still hard to, and I say this, it's still hard to get new blood in the NBA now. For whatever reason, it's still kind of difficult to get.
You mean for coaching?
For coaching, I don't know why that is.
Well, the NBA is one league that actually does hire former players as coaches. I mean, you don't see that in the NFL.
They do, but they don't get a lot of they don't give these guys a lot of rope to hang themselves. Like they will yank the chain quick.
Oh, you see what happened to Earl Watson when he was the coach with the Suns? He made it 31 games,
right?
And they fired his ass.
Yeah, they didn't give him a chance to really get it. That's why you see a lot of these guys now. They're going down to the college game.
Yeah,
a lot of these guys now are going to the college
Penny Hardaway.
game.
I think Penny Hardaway, Juwan Howard is the coach at Michigan. Penny Hardaway is at Memphis.
And that's probably what's going to end up happen with Mark Jackson, because I don't think he's going to get another job. No,
he's not going to get another job.
But he's having so much fun commentating. I don't even know why you would want to jump back into that. Like,
I mean, I think Mark Jackson would take the Knicks job if the owner was different.
I'm sure he would, but I don't think he's going to get the opportunity, man. He made those comments about homosexuals or whatever, and he is out.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Damn.
Yeah, he made those comments. I don't remember how long ago that was, but he's out of there.
I mean,
what do you think about Jason Kidd's coaching?
That's another. He didn't really impress me.
No. He's good.
He's another guy, brilliant basketball player.
He's back to assistant. He's back to assistant coach now, right?
Yeah, with the Lakers.
Yeah, they kind of like just put him in. I don't even know what the hell that was all about. They just brung him in after they hired.
Well, that was a LeBron move. If Frank Vogel fucks up, then they're gonna give Jason Kidd the job. But Jason Kidd be on the sideline drunk and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, wait, is that normal to have been a head coach and then just be a assistant? And
I mean,
I feel like I haven't seen that often.
Not in the NFL.
I don't think so.
If you lose a head coaching job in the NFL, you're not taking an assistant coaching job.
In the NBA, damn, it seems like that only kind of happens with black coaches.
Yeah.
For some reason, because my man is an assistant coach up in Golden State right now.
I'm having trouble connecting to
dude that used to be the head coach of the Cavs when LeBron first came to the
league. Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, yeah. Brown's an assistant coach in Golden State.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ty Lue's an assistant right now, isn't he?
Yeah. I believe so.
I was surprised he made Kidd a head coach so fast as soon as his career ended. I thought that was kind of weird to begin with.
They did it because they thought that, he probably is one of those guys that has a great mouthpiece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, some people can talk their way into a great opportunity.
Good at politicking, good.
Yeah.
Derek Fisher's another guy that talked his way into a coaching position. Now he was fucking his players' girlfriends and wives.
Right.
And so like
he looks like that guy. When that was revealed, I was like, I could see it.
I wasn't surprised by
that. I wasn't surprised by that one at all. Yeah, I was like, I could see it. I could totally. If there was one coach who would do that, he had that kind of look to him. Man.
I wouldn't fuck with him.
I think this is a good time to wrap it up. But if anybody has any final,
I was getting ready to say I'm starving, dude.
Yeah,
any damn way, but this shit was good. I'm running late like a motherfucker.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be an hour.
It was fun, man.
This was fun. Yeah. We should do this more often. This was good.
I should have paid attention to the comments earlier.
Oh, there's some good comments up in here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's some good comments, good questions.
Anybody want to pick just one comment and talk about it before we go? But like fast, like a minute or two.
I can't even see there are live comments. Duh.
Yeah, so there was a comment earlier. It was about boxing. Back when we were talking about boxing. It was saying how I think the person was saying how boxing fans sound like wrestling fans, but with more prestige.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that because it's sort of calling us out as you're watching our YouTube stream.
But a lot of
boxing fans sound like wrestling fans, but with more prestige. By Killster619. But I think there's some truth to that. But
no fandom is so tied to the fans' masculinity as boxing. Like I know with boxing fans, especially on Twitter, a lot of people feel like if they get exposed as not knowing what they're talking about, somehow they're not a man. This dude's like a punk in the street. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Fighter loses, they got to rag on the person that's a fan of that boxer. Like I'm sure Deontay Wilder fans are hearing all the shit on Twitter.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, does it make you feel?
I stayed away from I'm not even looking at social media.
No, I didn't.
I tried not to.
I don't want to see the memes. No. Like the memes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, there's going to be a civil rights Deontay Wilder meme out there with just all the ancestors looking down.
like being
Don't give
disappointed.
people no damn ideas, man.
Right, you're right. You're right.
But you have to ask yourself, like, does that make you feel better because Deontay Wilder? Like, what really? Like, I don't know. Like, it just really that's really weird to me how people get so emotionally. The emotional boxing fan. I love boxing, period. But I'm not going to be tied to one guy.
Well, you know what it is.
It always goes back to race.
You know what it is. You said it. It's for better or worse. It's a racial element in boxing that is unexplainable. It's really in all combat sports.
I mean,
even MMA. Like there's
definitely
maybe not as pronounced as it is in boxing, but you know what?
I'd say it's pretty like Conor McGregor, he's Irish, right? I mean, that's his thing. And he's an Irish fighter.
Also with MMA, the whole league is the racial element, as in MMA versus boxing.
That's true.
So even if it's not within the MMA, just the existence of the MMA versus boxing and the people who are partial to the MMA versus boxing.
I think it's always been. If you're a fighter and you make even a hint of a comment about any type of racial injustice or anything like that, they're just gonna be like, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's what happened with I'm so horrible with remembering people's names, man. Who's the UFC fighter that lost recently? And he's never gonna get another title shot. It's like they'll never let him get another title. It was like he had to win, or he just would never get another title shot again. And
was it a white guy? Was it the white guy?
It was a black guy. It was a black guy. The excuse was that he's a boy. Tyron Wheatley. Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley. Right. Yeah.
He's been great forever, but he lost his title, right?
He lost his title, and he's not going to get another title shot. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was interesting because that's as much a political thing as it is the fans are not liking him, because that's a case where the actual brass in the UFC does not like Woodley. And I remember watching
races like Dana White. I think it's
oh my god, yeah.
They're sponsored by the military. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of.
I didn't realize how Americana the UFC was. But they're very. Sports in general is patriotic like that. That's one of the few things I agree with Jason Whitlock about when he made this point years ago. Is that sports, and I'm using quotes here, air quotes, is patriotic.
Yeah.
And so when you go against that, the grain on that, or people perceive you to go against the grain on that, you're automatically in league with Bin Laden in them. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're forever gonna be. You don't even have to say or do anything that radical. You know what I mean?
Even fake sports is patriotic. Look at WWE, man.
Yeah,
exactly. True. So, like, if you're someone who kind of goes against that grain, you'll be labeled a traitor. And a lot of black athletes are very aware of that. You know,
100%.
Remember what happened to Craig Hodges?
Remember what happened? And there was another guy. He used to play for the Phoenix Suns, right? The guy didn't he play for the Suns?
Come on, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Chris Jackson.
Right. Yeah.
Nuggets.
And he got Nuggets. There you go. My bad. And both of those guys, they never got contracts again in the league, and they were good. He was Steph Curry before Steph Curry was here.
Yeah. And Craig Hodges was leading the league in 3-pointers, and they said that he went to the White House after the Bulls won the championship. He went to the White House in a dashiki and gave President Bush, the first Bush, some type of letter or something.
Yes.
They said that when he got cut, even Michael Jordan wouldn't even fuck with him.
Right. Wow. And that's the thing, man. And it's like, and that wasn't even that radical of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was, and the NBA is the league that's supposed to be woke, right?
Yeah.
We did an episode on that a while back.
Yeah.
Fake woke NBA.
And we actually used that example, I think, too. We used a lot of those examples we just talked about. Check out the fake woke NBA thing. But yeah, you know what?
That's why, like, you listen to Booker T, the guy who used to be the wrestler, Booker T.
Yeah, I remember Booker T.
Yeah, Booker T. That's my dude. But he's one of those guys. He's very aware. Like he will not touch on too many racial issues. He damn sure not going to make a controversial.
Well, he made an excuse for Hulk Hogan when he was using
he did.
He made a huge excuse for him. And it actually, I was like, damn, bro.
I was very disappointed
Yeah.
with Booker T about that, man. And
because was it one of those where he could have kept quiet? Did somebody like straight up press him in an interview? Like
he had Hulk Hogan on his show.
Yeah.
Oh,
apologizing for him on his show, man.
Oh, that's fucked up. I was hoping like he just got pressed by surprise in an interview, and that's fucked up.
And I love Booker T, man. That's like one of my favorite podcasts right now, man. But
here's a hard truth, man. And any black person you've seen make it really big, but especially from the 80s to the 2000s, they had to put up with a little something behind the scenes, man.
Yep.
They didn't get there. Even if you didn't see what type of soft shoeing they were doing, maybe didn't have a chance to come to the forefront. Like somebody unearthed an old an old Denzel Washington interview where he was kind of talking some bootstrap soft shoeing stuff around the Malcolm X time, and people were like, "Damn, Denzel," and I'm like, "Hey, man, anybody who got that big, that's to swallow some shit somewhere if you're black." Yeah, I mean, even today, I'm saying back then, like it's a old thing, but even today, now they don't even care about swallowing shit behind the scenes. Now they'll straight up be agents publicly. If you got a blue check now, you'll just don't even pretend to be.
And I want to be clear, I'm not saying Booker T is that, because I know what there's some guys that are all in.
But I don't even talk about all in. I'm talking about there's always a degree of that. Like you can't ever be totally surprised. Like if they were stick to the guns, strident about never.
They'd end up like Tyron Woodley.
Exactly, they wouldn't even gotten that far. So
he's never going to get another title shot again. Like somebody said that. Joe, the guy who used to be on Joe Rogan's podcast, one of his partners, Matt Schwab, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
They overheard some executives, matchmakers. They were pulling against Woodley, and the guy overheard him talking about that, and then he's for Woodley, and Matt Schwab was like, "Why?" He said, "Because man, they doing him dirty. If he loses, they're not gonna ever give him another title shot." And he lost that fight, and he ain't sniffing that belt ever again. You know what I mean? He hasn't sniffed it yet, and he may not. Hopefully he does. But
I hope he does, because he's a damn good fighter, man.
But can you think of
he's been around, man? I mean, they can make an excuse that he's too old. They'll have some excuse in saying that, like, he doesn't deserve it.
Right. Randy Couture was
it's bullshit.
1,000 years old. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying it's legit. I'm just saying they'll make up something.
Yeah, exactly. They'll always. He's boring, dude. Do you know how fucking boring the UFC was for years before they started?
Boring equals black.
Exactly.
The UFC used to be pure ground and pound. Like during the days when Randy Couture was
George St. Pierre is fucking boring.
He is boring.
Exactly.
He is boring. The most exciting thing he did was get knocked out by Matt Serra.
Right. Yeah. Matt Hughes was boring.
I was about to say, no one ever said Matt Hughes was boring. And all he did was throw people, and then he would just lie on top of them.
Exactly. Tito Ortiz was boring. Like he had a great mouth. He had the WWE personality and charisma, but his fights was take you down and pound you for 3 or 5 rounds. 3 to 5 rounds.
Dude, St. Pierre, even in Captain America Civil War, he was boring. That's fucking the movies. Like, yo, that's what they can put you on wires.
He's got, like,
and do
negative
whatever.
Charisma.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like Chris, what's his name? The guy, Chris Evans. Chris Evans looked more exciting in that fake fight than
and that's a dude that constantly looks bored. Chris Evans looked like he's on the verge of passing out from boredom every time. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Oh man.
Vince McMahon said the N-word in front of Shelton Benjamin. He said the N-word in front of Booker T.
Yeah.
So, well, not the hard ER N-word though. So, but still, like, come on, man.
Hey, all right, guys, man. It was a good time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
this was fun, man.
Yeah, and one thing in general, man, like to keep the YouTube different than the podcast and stuff, like, because we don't want everything just be the same thing all over, like the YouTube be a duplicate. So I like talking about like things like this on the YouTube, sports, music, maybe talk about TV shows and stuff too. So I think this is a nice,
for sure.
a nice pattern. So
Nice change of pace.
yeah.
And guys, remember, please hit that like, hit that bell so that you can get the notifications.
It's important.
Subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah. Go to patreon.com/Champagne Sharks, $5 a month, and you get all the back episodes and a bunch of other good stuff. And also, before we go, Adam, plug your.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know if you guys are aware, but I'm on the podcast Escape from Plan A. It's Plan A magazine. We talk about all sorts of things, politics, TV shows, you name it, media. And, hopefully we'll do something like this too. We'll have some of you guys on, and some of you guys have been on our podcast, and this was a lot of fun. I appreciate the opportunity, T.
All right. Shout out to 2008 B. Scott, Killster 619, Outlaw 82 Atlantic, Champagne Communist, Stacey D, with the Primo Canelo heyday.
That's right. I love it.
I hate Canelo. I hate Canelo too. I mean, you're not alone.
It inspired my Burrow hate to come out too. Thank you.
BC, it's Sly. Watched the game with us last night. Jordan Ciampini,
82 Atlantic.
Yeah, Yakub. I gotta shout out someone named Yakub. We can't not shout out Yakub. Max Brown, Manu 1-2. If I missed anybody, nothing personal. And all right, guys, take care.
All right, peace.